Hey guys, this is Shreyas and welcome back to another video. So today I'm gonna do a laptop comparison. Now let me make it clear from the beginning, these are not two of laptops which are either in the same price range, but I feel performance wise and what they have to offer as a whole package might be something that is comparable. So that's why I'm gonna try and do an objective comparison between these two and let you know which might be a better choice, what could be a more value for money, and if it is worth spending more on the more costlier laptop. So the two laptops I've got here today is the Lenovo Yoga 7i. Over here I have the HP Envy x360 14. There are a lot of aspects to a laptop and I'll go through each of them one by one. And if you're looking for an individual review of these two laptops, I have already made them, so I'll make sure to link them down below, or you can check it out somewhere over here. So if you like laptop and PC content, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and make sure you turn on notifications so that you know when I bring you these kind of reviews. So with that said, this is Shreyas and let's check these out. So primarily these are two different kind of laptops with different approaches from both the OEMs, that is Lenovo and HP, and both have done a great job overall and have aced some aspects of the things. If you really want to see a detailed comparison between the Ryzen 4500U or the 4000 series in general with the Zen 2 architecture and between the Tiger Lake architecture of the 11th gen i7 on the Lenovo, I will make a detailed review about it with all the power profiles, how their performance is, the clock speeds and the temperatures in the next video. So make sure you turn on that notification bell and subscribe to the channel. So let's get on with this particular comparison. First of all, definitely the build quality. Now since design is subjective, you guys let me know looking at these clips how you find both of these laptops and which one you prefer. I personally like the Lenovo design better because it's minimal and has two logos over here. I think the HP chrome design over here is a bit overboard, and also this, since it is chrome type finish, it gets a lot of fingerprints. Another thing is on the design, this catches a lot more fingerprints than the Lenovo one, so that's something I personally prefer. Now coming to the quality of materials used, both are all metal builds, being the lid, the chassis and the palm rest area. Deck flex is almost close to none. Now one more thing that I felt while using both of these laptops is that this has a bigger footprint than the HP. I mentioned in my review how the speakers take up more place and the screen is a bit bigger as a result of that as well, giving the chassis size a bit more space as well. So what happens is you get a bit more area to rest your hands while typing, and that's kind of comfortable. But here the palm rest area is not as much, so sometimes on your wrists you might be resting it almost at the edge, which is not really comfortable if you're typing for long hours. So that's something you should keep in mind. And if you have to compare the size, this is a bit more compact, feels dense as well because it's compact, although these both weigh almost the same. Moving on, let's talk about the displays. Now both of these come with 300 nit IPS displays at a 1080p resolution. Now I wish both of these came with a bit more of a brightness, at least 400 nits. That would have really made a difference because both of these are touchscreens and they come with glossy screens. So when you're working outdoors, that's something that could cause a bit of a problem because you're limited by the brightness because it's 300 nits. The HP was very minutely higher in brightness. So if I have to choose a slightly more brighter display, I would go with the NV14, but keep in mind the difference is very minute and marginal. You won't even get to know if you don't keep them side by side. But to my eyes, I'm a bit disappointed with the Lenovo over here. Color accuracy is okay, I guess, for day-to-day tasks and you won't really notice it, and even for movie watching it's fine. Colors on the HP are a bit superior in my experience. Apart from that, these two are touchscreens and come with their individual pens. The screen of both of these displays are made out of glass and the pen is of pretty good quality for both of these. They both have two clicky buttons on them which you can configure in their individual software, and that's something that could be useful. About the storage of the pen, you get this nifty holder for the Lenovo Yoga 7i, but it will take up your only USB-A port. So the pen is a bit magnetic in nature, and so are magnets placed around the display of the screen and the HP NV. That's why you can kind of store it over there, kind of like an iPad. It's not that strong, but you can definitely store it and you won't be occupying any ports, although this has a bigger chance of falling off or getting lost in your bag when you put it. So with that said, let's just dive into both of these cameras and take a look at them. Alright, so this is the Lenovo's Yoga 7i and this is the HP. Although the lighting conditions is a bit different, but I'm exactly in the same environment. You can see that the highlights are completely being blown out over here, although I have a bulb glowing behind me. Over here the highlights are better controlled. The HP is way more noisier and I don't like it. And I'm changing the audio input on both of these. So let me know which sounds better. The Lenovo has a physical privacy shutter as well, and so does the HP, but it is triggered by software. You don't have a physical button to close off the camera, but both can have that. So now with that done, let's get back to the video. So you saw the webcam quality. Comment down below in what you think is better. Alright, with that done, let's talk about the speakers. Now, the speakers are a clear win to the Lenovo Yoga 7i according to me, because the HP actually has only bottom firing speakers. The sound is a lot more balanced over here and you get relatively better bass response on the Lenovo Yoga 7i. HP actually lacks a lot of bass, not just that, it is slightly tinny at higher volumes. So that's something I would ask you guys to keep in mind, and that's about the speaker. My personal preference is absolutely the Lenovo Yoga 7i. So I was talking about the port situation over here, and here is where it gets a bit tricky. Now this is a cheaper laptop, comes around 70 to 75,000 rupees for the HP Envy X360 over here, and it comes with a good selection of ports in my opinion. So on the left side of the laptop you get a mic and audio jack combo. You get a USB-A which is kind of recessed and can open up. You have a USB-C which supports both data transfer and display output and charging as well. So it's a multi-purpose one, which is great. You have on the right is the charging port of the HP Envy. You have another USB-A and a micro SD slot, which I don't know if you guys would like to use it. Now coming to the Lenovo Yoga 7i, I feel you have a lack of ports over here. It has a couple of Thunderbolt 4 ports on the left side of the laptop with another 3.5mm mic and audio jack combo. On the right side you only have a single USB-A, and as I mentioned in the earlier part of the video, if you use the pen holder over here, it will occupy the only USB-A port you have on the laptop. So I guess this is the sacrifice you have to make if you are going for better speakers. Although Thunderbolt 4 can enable you to expand your port situation if you have a hub or a dock which is Thunderbolt certified, but I think most people don't have it. According to my latest Twitter poll, are not even aware of it. That's something you need to consider. Also, the price point of those docks and hubs are really high. Let's now go on to the charging solution for both of these laptops. Both come with 65 watt adapters. The difference being the included adapter has a USB-C charging cable in the Lenovo Yoga 7i, which I'm a huge fan of. I explained it in the full review of the same. But this one comes with its own proprietary barrel connector, although if you have PD rated chargers, you can charge it up via the USB-C port on this particular laptop as well. Moving on, battery and charging. Now the HP is a smaller footprint. They only fit in a 51 watt-hour battery, but given the efficiency of the Ryzen chip in here, you get excellent battery life, almost 8 hours. Whereas although the Lenovo Yoga comes with a huge 71 watt-hour battery, due to the lack of the efficiency of the Intel chips, you get around 8.5 to 9 hours as well. Now charging times, both are really great. Both of them charge up to 50% in half an hour, and this happens with both the included charger and even if you use 65 watt PD chargers as well, which is a great thumbs up from my end. Now next is a part which was very easy for me to decide: the keyboard and trackpad. I mentioned in the Lenovo Yoga 7i, I was a huge fan of Lenovo's keyboard. They are clicky and have a higher amount of travel. These are very mushy on the HP and I'm not a huge fan of it. So the keyboard straight up winner is the Lenovo Yoga 7i for my taste, and the HP is a good keyboard. I don't have a complaint. What I do have a complaint regarding the HP is the keyboard layout. Now they fit in the fingerprint reader in such a odd position, and they also fit in the page up, page down row of keys to the extreme right of the chassis, which does not make sense to me. The Lenovo just shifts the fingerprint reader down into the chassis where they had lots of space, and it makes sense, giving us a better keyboard layout on the Lenovo Yoga 7i. Now coming to the trackpad, the Lenovo has a bigger trackpad and well sized as well. The HP has a good size in terms of width, but it literally lacks vertical space, so it's not that tall. That's where the Lenovo takes a lead in my opinion. Not just that, both are glass-topped trackpads with Windows precision drivers, but the Lenovo was just more fun to use. It was way more smoother than the HP. Personally, I would definitely go for it. Also, the clicks are snappier and crisper on the Lenovo, which I personally prefer, but it could be an annoyance to you given the sound. In that terms, the clicks on the trackpad of the HP Envy are a bit more subdued and dampened, if I may say. Here is where you can listen to both the keyboards and the trackpads of the HP Envy 14 and the Lenovo Yoga 7i. Alright, now let's come to the crux of it, which is the performance. The laptop also comes with another SKU which has the i5 variant, which is again a quad-core processor with 8 threads, but it is clocked a bit lower at 4.2 GHz. On the other hand, the HP comes with the Ryzen 4500U. It is a 6-core 6-thread processor. It has a lower TGP of 15 watts only, and the highest goes up to 10 to 25 watts depending on the power profiles. Whereas over here, the TGP mentioned on the site is 28 watts, but in my testing, I recorded tops up to 35 and 40 watts spikes as well at times. I'm not going to dive deep into this particular comparison. If you want a deeper analysis of this, stay subscribed, turn on notification, because the next video I make will be the full-fledged detailed comparison between these two CPUs based on these two laptops only. The Ryzen runs cooler, and I think given the smaller battery size, the efficiency of the Ryzen just shows up here given it's based on a 7nm process and has a lower TGP as well. But in this one, it's not that great in terms of sustained performance. Now it does sustain the performance very well around 3.8 to 3.7 GHz, but it gets really hot and the junction temperatures reach 100 degrees, so it just thermal throttles. Another important part of both these are the integrated graphics. Unfortunately, the Ryzen 5 comes with the Vega architecture of GPUs, which is just bad, but that's something Intel has actually changed, and their Xe graphics is definitely superior to the Vega graphics. It does come at the cost of higher temperatures or the fans ramping up way more, but Valorant was hitting 100 plus FPS in my testing, which is insane and really good. Again, for detailed reviews, I'll make sure to make another video about these, but if you really want to concentrate on gaming, Intel Tiger Lake CPUs are the one to go, be it the i5 or the i7, and the Intel Evo platform gives you the Xe graphics, which is a huge win for Intel. But if your work or tasks are not related to gaming or GPU oriented at all, I would definitely prefer the Ryzen, just given its efficiency and also the temperatures. So that's been it with the objective review between the Lenovo Yoga 7i and the HP Envy 14 x360. So let me know down in the comments below how you found this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found out about both these laptops and how the OEMs approached it, also based on different CPUs. Make sure you're subscribed and notified to the channel, because I'll bring you the detailed comparison between the Ryzen 5 4500U and the Intel 11 Gen 1165G7. So that's been it for this particular video. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.